Greetings all, Flying Brian here. Gonna do a few beginner guitar lessons. So these are beginner guitar lessons. They are done specifically for Eric and Chris, a couple of friends of mine that are just starting to play the guitar. So unfortunately, I live about 3.5 hours away from them. So this is the best way that I could help them out with a little instruction, a little bit of knowledge about a guitar. You find me a clean channel here. Don't want the Marshall sound to rip out your ears there. Now, let's start with the basics. This is a guitar. This is the body of the guitar. This is the neck of the guitar. This is the head of the guitar with lots of, well, actually 6 exactly, tuning pegs. Most guitars have 6 strings. They make them today with 7 and 8 and other things like that. But this is a 6-string guitar. It's a 2005 Les Paul Standard. Similar guitar that I'm sure y'all seen. Slash plays one. Joe Perry from Aerosmith plays one. You'll see Jerry Cantrell play one a lot, although he likes to play his G&L custom as well. But this is basically the standard of the rock and roll guitar, developed by Gibson and Les Paul way back in the 1950s. Was the first solid body electric guitar. Enough for the history lesson. Okay, so on the neck of the guitar, you'll see these little bitty wire things. Those are called frets. Every guitar has a different amount of frets. The Gibson Les Paul Standard has 22 of them. Goes from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, blah, 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 all the way up to 22. Now, each of these frets represents what is called a chromatic step. You'll understand that a little more here in a second. Just remember that each fret is a chromatic step. Since I'm recording this stuff, y'all can go back and rewatch it as much as possible. So I'm not going to go over things, but maybe once or twice when I'm teaching face to face, I go over things, 5, 6, 7 times just to make sure that my musician students actually retain that information. But since you can play this over and over, I'm not going to repeat things a whole lot. But I'm going to repeat that since I just went off on a tangent there. Each fret, 22 of them on the Les Paul, each fret represents a chromatic step. Now a little bit about music theory. I'll come back to that here in just a second. So, on the Les Paul we have 6 strings. We count them from the bottom up. So the bottom string is number 1. Then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's count from the bottom to the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Very simple. If a guitar is tuned in standard tuning, you're going to have, from top to bottom, you're going to have E, A, D, G, B, E. Once again, E, A, D, G, B, E. That's how the guitars are tuned. Normally, that's how they're tuned in standard. So, you got E, A, D, G, B, E. And from bottom to top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, now a little bit about music theory, which we'll go over quite a bit in future lessons. But right now, we're just going to talk simple stuff. So, each fret represents a chromatic step. An octave. 8 octave has 8 notes in it. So each octave contains 12 chromatic steps, 8 diatonic steps. You're talking about octave. 8 diatonic steps. So you're going to say do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That's 8 steps. That's your octave right there. You didn't think that Disney was teaching you music when they did The Sound of Music? Yeah, they're really teaching you something. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. 8 steps, 8 diatonic steps. So when you've got your octave, you've got 0, open frets, what we call it. Fret number 0 or open fret. And then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's your 12 chromatic steps on an octave. So you should be on that 12th fret. That's an octave. In simple terms, that's an E. That 12th fret is also an E because it's an octave up. You go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. So you've got 8, like I said, 8 notes to an octave. So that's 12 chromatic steps to an octave. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, we'll play the major scale here, which means going to be 8 diatomic steps in the major scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so 8 diatomic steps to an octave, 12 chromatic steps to an octave. Bang. Tuning your guitar. Should have mentioned this a second ago. When you're tuning your guitar, for most of you beginners who can't tune by ear, you know, all that mess, I recommend getting a chromatic tuner. You hit the note, it tells you the key that you're in. And it tells you the note that you're hitting. It's going to say E, and it'll tell you if it's flat, which is too high, too low, or if it's sharp, which is too high. It'll tell you that, so then you can get it right on the money. I currently am tuned what's called a half step down. I do this because I play in several different bands, and we're all tuned to half step down to match the bands that we play. We play in a lot of cover bands. Guns N' Roses played a half step down, Alice in Chains, Weezer, Poison, Van Halen. All these guys were already a half step down, so we tuned to match that as well, since we play a lot of their songs. So when it should be E, A, D, G, B, E, I'm actually E flat, G sharp, C sharp, F sharp, B flat, E flat. Okay, so if you're playing along with me and want to be tuned the same way, then you need to tune a half step down. There's all kinds of things, you know, look up online to find these things. I said I'm trying not to waste too much time on these videos. I want to give you the more instruction than sit here and explain things that you can you're smart enough to look up on your own. All right, so we've learned chromatic steps, diatomic steps. If you're speaking in standard terms, I mentioned a half step down. Y'all are going, what's a half a step? Just in your standard jargon, your lingo, 2 frets, 2 chromatic steps is 1 step. So a half a step is going to be 1 chromatic step. So when, like I said, I should be an E, that should be an E. It's actually an E flat, which is 1 chromatic step down. That's what being tuned a half step down means. All right, now we're going to go over exercise number 1. That's what I need you to do. I learned the wrong way, which still makes me an intermediate player rather than an expert. Because I have the expert knowledge, but my technique is foul. So we want you guys to be as perfect as you can be. Don't learn the bad habits that I did, because it's really hard to unlearn, especially for me. It's hard to unlearn a bad habit once you learn it. So proper way to pick. You want to go down, up, down, up, down, up. I predominantly down pick, because once upon a time I read an article that said Metallica predominantly down picks. Everything they did was down picking. So, you know, I'm sitting here going, all of that's down picking. Imagine how fast I can make that if I was going down, up, down, up, down, up. But I didn't learn that way. So and it's hard for me to adjust my technique now that I'm old and set in my ways, you know. So what we're going to do is what's called a chromatic exercise. Your pick hand is going to go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, along with my head, obviously, down, up. And you're going to take each hand. You got fingers 1, 2, 3, 4. If I ever say 4th finger, 3rd finger, whatever, it's just like you're counting. Finger 1, finger 2, finger 3, finger 4. You're going to start whatever fret you want to, and you're going to go each individual fret with each individual finger. So you're just going to go. It's not going to make a pretty sound. It's going to make a sound. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going down, up every time. So you're going to be down, up. Okay? You're going to go from each string to the other string. So you're going to go all the way up the neck. You're going to go. Okay? Then you're going to go down. Okay? You see, I'm still not perfect at that, even though I should be, as long as I've been playing the guitar, but I'm not by any sense. So you want to get it right. Make sure you get it right. Go as slow as you can to get it right. So there's 6 strings, 4 fingers. 6 times 4 is 24. So you're going to have 24 strokes. 12 down strokes, 12 upstrokes. You're gonna go down, up, 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 down, up. That last one's got to be up. If it's not an upstroke, then that means that you've made a mistake somewhere. So you need to slow down and do it again. Down, up, down, up. Down, up, down, up. Down, up, down. Was that last one up? Should have been. Like I said, then we're going to go down. Down, I say down as in down in tone. We're going to start at the top of the neck. Start the neck here. Up, down. Was that last one up? Should be. So if it's not, start over. Okay? Simple as that. Don't have to do them fast. Do them as slow as you have to do them to get them right. Got it? All right, and your speed will increase in time. So, in retrospect, we learned what a guitar is. It's got a body, a neck, a head, tuning pegs, frets, all that good stuff. 12 chromatic steps to an octave. 8 diatonic steps to an octave, which you'll understand more as I start going over scales here in next couple of lessons. Work on your chromatics. Down, up on the picking. And until next time, Chris, Eric, enjoy your guitars. Get to playing. Get good. Eric, I know Chris, you're old like me, so it's one of those things, you do it for pleasure. Eric, you're young enough that you can turn into a great guitarist one day if you really work at it. For everybody that thinks that I'm a moron and don't like my lessons, I could care less. So these are for friends of mine, Eric and Chris, and as long as they're happy with learning guitar from good friend their good friend Flying Brian, who lives a couple hours away, then we're all good. You guys keep playing. I will be back soon.